Hey everyone, I hope you are all doing great and ready to dive into some exciting new content today. If you are serious about building secure and scalable web applications, you are in the right place. Whether you are a seasoned developer or just getting started, every little step towards better security makes a big difference. In today's video, we are diving into an essential feature of any secure web application, that is sending email confirmation to newly registered users using JWT, that's a JSON Web Token, and ASP.NET Core Identity. Just imagine this: a user signs up for your app, but before they can access sensitive data or start using the service, they need to confirm that their email is valid. This simple step not only ensures the authenticity of your users, but it also helps you prevent spam account and unauthorized access. Plus, it creates an extra layer of security by confirming the user's identity right from the get-go. So in this video, I will guide you through setting up email confirmation in your .NET 8 Web API, from configuring identity to generating JWT tokens and sending confirmation email. This feature is crucial in modern applications that need to verify user account before granting access to core functionalities in your system. Let's look at 3 ways why email confirmation is so important that you cannot miss it in your application. First is cybersecurity. When users verify their email addresses, you ensure that they own the account they are using to sign up. This can prevent common security threats such as bots or attackers creating fake accounts. Secondly, email confirmation improves user engagement and trust. Verified users are more likely to trust your platform, knowing that their data is safe. It also helps in keeping your user database clean and accurate. You are ensuring that the people who sign up are real and actively engaging with your service. So now that we have the idea of email confirmation, let's go ahead and see how we can include it in our project. So launch of Visual Studio and let's create a project which is going to be definitely Web API. So click on Create New Project. ASP.NET Core Web API, give it a name, and I'll click on Next to create a project. So now that we have our project created, we need some packages in order to handle this. So let's go and install these packages. We need to install MailKit, we need to install JWT Bearer, Entity Framework Core, Identity UI, SQLite, and Tools. I already have the package references of these packages, so I need not to install them again. All that I'm going to do here is to restore these packages. So I'll just right click on this project, then I'll unload it. After I unload the project, then I'm going to paste in this and reload project with dependencies. So these are the packages that you need. Install this MailKit, JWT Bearer, EF-Call, Identity UI, SQLite, and now Tools. You can decide to use an SQL server. It's still going to work. So choose a database and put it in there. So now that we have the packages being pasted in here, let's go and reload project with dependencies to get these packages restored. Alright, so we can go ahead and rebuild this project to make sure everything is intact. So now that we have this built successfully, let's go to the program file and add our JWT service and also identity service. So before our app build, we need to create the DB set first, isn't it? So let's create a DB context in the data folder. Maybe say in the project, right click on it, let's add a folder, and I'm going to name this as data. So from there, let's create a DB context class. So let's class, and I'm going to make it as app.db context. Now this should inherit from identity DB context. So we're going to create constructor of this. So that is all we need to do here. Let's save it. Let's go to our program file. Let's go and register our connection in there. That's a database connection. So that is builder.services.add db context and appdb context. And in here, we need to specify database connection. Since we're going to have an option, so options maps to this options dot, and I'm going to use SQLite. I can go ahead and I'll specify the data source straight in here. So auth.db, that is my database. So aside from this, let's go and add migration. So you make sure it is built. Now add migration. Update database. So that is done. Let's go and add our services. So add JWT service. So we need to specify 3 options here: default authentication scheme, and all of them are going to match with JWT bearer default authentication scheme. And then the last one that we need, it is a default challenge scheme, which is same. Now let's add JWT bearer, which also takes in options. Now here we need to have option.save token. Let's set this to true. So from that, let's specify our token validation parameters. Now in that, we need to specify, so we can clear this. So let's say validate audience. Let's set this to false for demo purpose. So we want to set all this to false. Then by in the production, we need to validate the audience and maybe the issuer. So issuer, set this to false. So we need to have an issuer sign-in key. We'll specify that soon. Then we need validate lifetime. Let's also false this. And maybe we need to have required expiration time. Set this to false. Okay. Let's only validate issuer sign-in key. Okay, So now when we come here, we want to get our key. So maybe let's have as byte. You say key, then this equal to, let's have our encoding dot, let's use an ASCII. Encoding is coming from system.test, so we can use ASCII.getByte, and let's specify the random characters here. Then we pick our key. So in here we're going to say continue symmetrical security, and then specify the key. Okay, so we are done adding our JWT authentication. Let's go and add identity. So builder.services.add, let's use default identity, which takes in identity user. Then with identity user, we need to specify options as well. Now with this option, you want to have option.require email confirmation, but it should be signed in first. Require email confirmation. Set this to true. That is what we want to achieve today. Now, in order for us to get the token in the form of integer, let's also add options.tokens, then .email confirmation token provider, set it to token options dot, let's use default email provider. So this will give us the number integer. If you don't provide this, you're going to have string. We want to have an integer number, so we can copy and paste it. Okay, now after this, we want to add entity framework core. Let's specify our DB context. So app DB context, and that is all we need to do. Okay. Now this should be here. I believe you've done that, isn't it? Alright, so that is all that we need to do. Let's go and create our controller to handle the creation, the confirmation, and our sending of the email. I've made a dedicated video on how you can send email. Okay, so we're going to use that simple code, simple method to handle the email sending. So let's edit this. And we're going to change this to authentication or accounts or whatever name that you feel you want to give it to this. You can go ahead and undo that. So I'm going to remove all this and let's start. So the first thing I'm going to start here is let's inject our user manager. So user manager, which is identity user. We have identity user, then we say this is user manager. So this is what we want. Now let's create a first method, which is going to be HTTP post, and here we're going to say it is register. We want to accept some parameters such as email and also accept password. So we need these two parameters. Let's have a public async task, which takes in generic of iAction results. And now we say here that register string email as a parameter, and now string password. Okay, so we have this. Let's have a separate method down here to get a user. So this should be private async task, which returns identity user. You know, at time you need to follow the principle of dry, do not repeat yourself. So multiple methods, or a method which you want to be using multiple times should be extracted in a single file, a single method. So you can be calling it over and over again, which takes in the email, and that is exactly what we are doing here. So here we are saying that return await, that is user manager dot find user by email, and I'm passing this email here. It could be that this could be null, isn't it? So let's make this as nullable. Now let's grab this, and into our method that we have, let's have our user is equal to, we have an await get user passing this email. So when this comes in and we are saying that if user is not equal to null, then we want to return bad request. We don't want to give a lot of information in account, because you know this is the delicate area. So make sure you keep things secret. Do not expose things to before you get hacked, right? So let's have, in case it's null, then let's say await user manager dot create async, specify new identity user, and now in that there are some things that you need to specify. That is, username is the first thing, is a must. Passing as the email, we have email, that is email. Then we have password hash, that is password. And aside from that, you need to specify password too. Now let's close it. So we're going to say if this result dot succeeded. So in case it isn't, we don't want to give any information. All that we want to do here is return store bad request. So the user might not know what is happening. Okay, we don't want to give any information because you don't know the person who is creating the account. It could be good, it could be bad. So keep things secret. Now let's have our, in case it is successful, then we want to grab this user is equal to await get user, then still passing the email. So after we have this email, what are we going to do? We want to have the email code. So this is the code. I want to say that await email, not the email, this is user manager dot generate email confirmation token, which takes in this user. So passing the user. This user could be null, so make sure you check it out. Now once you have this, all that we're going to do here is let's create send email, which is going to return string from our method that is send email method. In the let's pass in this user email and on the email code. So user dot email and also this email code. So that is a token. You want to send this to the current user's email address to verify. So within this, we need to create a method here. So control period, click on generate a method known as send email. We have it in here, and let's return the results. So return, okay, since it's an action result, the result that is coming from the email send kindly return to the user. Now when we come to the email section, what are we going to be doing here? We have the package already installed, so let's have our string builder. I have this created at hand. I prepared this at hand, so I'm going to copy this with just an HTML format we're going to be using to send the email. So I have all this. It's a HTML body. I can see it's an HTML that I'm sending. So I just copy this and I'll paste this the code that you want. And here it is an email. So dear, you have an email. Thank you for your registration. To verify your email, copy this code and now paste it, right? So follow the verification code or just copy and paste it. Please enter this code in your website to complete registration. Then whatever. Best regard, Netcode-Hub. Alright, so once we have this generated, we need to have our string. So let's say this is string. So message is equal to email message dot to string. Convert this to string. And the next thing that we're going to do here is let's create our email. So email is equal to new my message. Now this message is coming from MIME-kit. So let's make sure we have that. Aside from that, we need to prepare send to and now from, right? So we're going to say this email dot to dot add. So whom are we sending to? we're going to specify the name in there, but before that we need to use mailbox. So mailbox address dot pass, then we're going to specify it here. Let's make a duplicate. Now instead of to, we're going to say from, the same thing. Let's specify the subject. So we have an email dot subject, and this equal to email confirmation. Then let's specify the body. So email dot, we're gonna have the body. Now this body we're gonna say is equal to new text part. Then within that we're gonna have our text format. So text formats, and we want to make it as HTML since we have created an HTML. And in that, let's specify the text. The text equal to this message. You close that. So now that we have this, let's create our using. So var SMTP is equal to new SMTP client. We are using MailKit. Then here you're gonna say SMTP dot authenticate. Now with authenticate, we want to specify the username and the password. So you have username, then we have password. Okay. Then before that we need to connect it. So SMTP dot connect. And now with this connect, we need the host, and we need the ports, and also we need secure socket option dot start TTLS, because we're going to be using Ether. That's a fake email account, and that is a TTLS. It's a TLS, so we need to use that. Then after we authenticate this, what are we going to do? We want to say SMTP dot send. So let's send this email. Now after sending this email, we want to disconnect. So SMTP dot disconnect. Then let's pass through to disconnect. Then after that, let's return a string message. So thank you for your registration. Kindly check your email for confirmation code. Alright, so now this is going to send this email, okay, to the person's email address when you specify this in here. Now once you have the next thing we're going to do here is when the person passes in the token from the email, what do you want to do? Let's go and verify that. So this is going to be HTTP post, and here we're going to say confirmation. So confirmation. Now with this, it's going to accept the email address of the user and also the token. Now this token, or this is the code. This code should be integer. Since we know we are sending an integer, we want to make sure it is that. Okay. Now let's create a method to handle this. So this should be public async task of iAction result, and here we say confirmation, which takes in the email, and also it takes in this code. So we can check if the string dot is null or empty, if the email is empty, or this code is less than or equal to 0, then we want to return bad request. And now with this, we're going to say invalid code provided. Now in case all is set, what we're going to do here is let's get the user. So user is equal to, we're going to have an await. We have a method already, get users. Let's specify the email. Now when we have this email, so if this user is null, then you want to return bad request. So we're gonna say invalid identity provided. So we can pass in something to maybe meaningful text, but in case it is not null, then we have our var result. There's going to be a boolean, so let's have boolean is, let's say, confirm email is equal to, I think here it shouldn't be boolean, so let's make it as var result. And we are saying that await. Now user manager dot confirm email async. Then let's specify the username and now the code. So that is the email and the code. Now here we're going to have a response of success. So this is our user, and then this is the code. Okay, this is the code coming in, and that is what we have. It's an integer, but you need to convert this to toString. Then we can say that if result dot succeeded, what you want to do, you can also return same bad request. Let's space this. So in case this is false, but in case this is true, then what do you want to do? So we can just return okay, email proceeded, or let's say, so email confirmed successfully, so you can proceed to login. That is when the email is confirmed. And let's also, so when you get to login, what are we going to do? Let's have our HTTP post. Now this post, here is going to be login, which takes in same email, takes in password, isn't it? Now here going to be public async task. It's a task of I action result, and in here we're going to say login, which takes in string, not username, email, and string password. Now within this, we want to check, so maybe we can check if string that is null. You're talking about the email, same thing, string that is null. Talking about the password, then return bad request. Now in case it isn't, then you want to check, so that's where bool is email confirmed. So let's check if the email is confirmed. So user manager dot is email confirmed. We specify the user, but since you're not having the user here, so we can grab the user at get user, passing this email. So you can even check here, in case this user is null, then return bad request or return any action, but for now we can skip that. So we're going to check if false. So we're going to say if is email confirmed. If this is false, then return bad request. So you need to confirm email before logging in. You see? So that is what you want to do. But in case it is true, what are you going to do? then maybe you want to generate token. So here, if everything is set, then what are you going to do here is to generate the token. So let's return OK. Now with this OK, let's specify new. Then we're going to say login successful, and also we need a method generate token. Let's pass in this user. Now let's go and create this method. So generate method known as a generate token, which takes an identity user. And in here, what are we going to do? We're going to now generate a token. So we have our byte, and that's going to be our key. Let's equal to, we have our encoding. So encoding.ascii.getByte, and here let's go ahead and grab our byte. So you can put this in the app settings so you don't have to repeat this, and this key must be in a secret place. Don't just expose it as I'm doing. So we get byte from this. After getting this byte, what are we doing? We want to have our security key, which is equal to new symmetrical security key, and I'll specify the key that we have created in the byte form. Now the next thing is, let's create our credential from the key. So credentials equal to new symmetrical credential, that is coming here. I'm not finding mine. Do you see yours? So no symmetrical, that is sign in credential, right? So sign in credential, and here you need to specify the security key, in where we omitted, I think, E. Then aside from the key, we need security algorithm .hmark256. Let's have our claims. Claims is this equal to new array. Let's add new claim, just coming from system.claim. In here we can specify JWT registered claim names. So registered claim names, which is coming from tokens. Then we want to specify the sub, and here we want to say user.id. Let's make a duplicate, and instead of this ID we specify the email, and I will say that this is user.email. Let's make sure this is null, and user to same. After we have this, let's go ahead and generate our token. So this is our token. We have equal to new JWT security token, and now in that we need the issuer as null. So let's specify we need our audience as null. We need our claims as claims that we have in here. Then we need our expiry date as null, since we did not activate that. Then we need our signing credential as credential that we created. Okay. So in order for us to read it well, this could be an issuer. So this issuer, we have our audience, Then we have our claims. We have our expiry. Then we have our credential in here. So credential. So that is sign-in credentials. We have them. Okay. So let's go and create a method. Now this method, we're going to protect it. So, as soon as you leave it like this, it is unprotected. So anybody can have access to this. So let's return new JWT security token handler dot. Then we can write token. And I'll pass in this token. Aside from that, let's go down here. Then this is HTTP get. And now with this get, we're saying this endpoint is protected. So whilst it is protected, let's have a public which returns string. Then we're going to say that get message. And now this get message, you want to say that this message is coming from protected endpoint. Okay, but we're not going to leave this alone. We're going to be adding authorized attribute. So authorized, whereby specify the scheme. So we have our scheme. That is our scheme. Alright, so before we go, we want to get a fake email account. So pull your browser and now let's access ethereal.email. Now this will give us fake email. Click on create email account. Now let's go and grab this, our fake email for testing. Let's go to our service, and where we have our email. So this is our to and from. So sending email, we need to authenticate this. So pass in your name, the same email. Let's go and grab the password and let's paste the password. Okay, now we need the SMTP or the host. So we can get the host from here. That is smtp.ethereal.email, which running on TLS or 587 as the port. And that is it. So let's build this. Let's make sure we have our message opened. For now, we have no message as email, subject as email confirmation. Let's see if this is done building. We're going to run it and check it out. So this succeeded. Let's run this. So our endpoints are ready. Now let's go and register. So we try this, passing an email, and so this is admin at maybe admin.com. Now let's specify the password, admin at 123. Let's click on execute. Now this is going to send an email for confirmation. So let's wait and see. I think we have a null issue, and I think you solved that. Let's do it again. So this username has been created, it has been saved in here. We did not have a method to roll back in case it's an issue. So maybe we can try and fix that. In case it couldn't, then you can roll back and delete the current user who got registered. But for now, we're going to use another email to handle that. Alright, so it is ready and loading. Now that this is set, click on try this out. So we cannot be using this let's use admin at mail.com. Then the password here is admin@123. Click on execute, and let's wait and check it out. So that is done. Let's check the reference here. So thank you for your registration. Kindly check your email for confirmation code. Right. Now let's see if we have it. Now click on message again. Oh yeah, we have it. Email confirmation. Click on it. And there's a message. Thank you for your registration with us. Please verify your email address. Use the following verification code. Right. So all that we need here is to copy this code. Now let's go back to our endpoint. This is our endpoint. Now before this, let's try to log in and check it out. We haven't verified, so let's try to log in. We are using the same email, admin@mail. So admin@mail.com and admin@123. Now click on execute. We try to log in once you haven't registered. Now you can see you need to confirm your email before logging in. Logins in. Well, we forgot to make it G, right? Logging in. So let's go and verify this. So confirm, pass in your email, admin@mail.com. Now paste in the code. Click on execute. Now email confirmed. Let's go and log in. We haven't logged in yet. Let's try to execute this method, which is protected. We must have 401. Execute this 401. Let's go and log in. So execute this, and here we have our token. So grab this token from here, and now let's open Postman so we can add this to the header. I have it open already. So that is this one. Now from this, it's going to be get. So let me go to header and add authorization. Let me remove this one. Then add bearer. And now paste this. Okay. Let's go to the endpoint, which gave us 401. Let's grab this. Let's go to the Postman. Let's paste it. So I'm going to deactivate this. Make a call. We must have 401. 401. Now let's activate the header. Click on send, and we must have the content. We still have 401, isn't it? Alright, so let's try this again. Account protected 401. Although we have this at the header, we're still getting 401. Let's find out and see. When we check our method in here, we have this get, which takes in is an authorize, and as soon as you authorize, you want to get this. Okay. So let's check here too. I believe you know what is causing the issue. This must be authorization. And I click on send, and it should receive a response from the API, from that endpoint. This message is coming from protected endpoint. So that is it. We've seen the simple steps to follow in order to integrate email confirmation in your API with identity and JWT as well. Always remember that security should always be on top priority in web development, and email confirmation is a great first line for defense. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more tips and tutorials on building secure, scalable web APIs. I'll catch you up again. Till then, take care.